Welcome back to the fifth video in the course on Ikigai. In the last video, we walked through the Ikigai framework, what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be rewarded for. You saw how those four elements come together to form a powerful lens for your life and work. Today, we're going to look at what happens when only some of those elements are present. Because in real life, most people don't start in the sweet spot where all four circles overlap. Most of us live in what you could call partial overlap zones. And these zones can feel like traps. You might love what you do and be good at it, but struggle to make any money. Or you might be excellent at your job and get paid well, but feel emotionally dead inside. You might do work that genuinely helps others, but feel constantly exhausted because there's no sustainability built in for you. In this video, I want to help you recognize these traps in your own life. Not so you can beat yourself up for being in them, but so you can understand why they feel the way they do and what's missing. Once you know that, you can start to move, step by step, toward a more complete version of Ikigai. Let's start with the first trap. You have passion and skill, but not much real-world need or reward. I like to call this the beautiful poverty trap. This is where you're doing something you genuinely love and you're actually good at it. Maybe you're a talented artist, musician, writer, craftsperson, or teacher. When you're in the work itself, you feel alive. Time flows, you get absorbed. People might even praise your talent. But when you look at your bank account or at the number of people who actually show up or buy what you're offering, things look very different. The demand just isn't there at the level you need. You might be creating beautiful things that hardly anyone sees, or offering a service people say they love, but they don't follow through with real commitment or payment. This trap hurts in a very particular way. You feel both inspired and insecure. Inspired because the work itself feels right. Insecure because you have no stable way to support yourself with it. You might find yourself taking on unrelated jobs just to pay the bills, and then squeezing your real work into nights and weekends, slowly burning out. You may also feel unappreciated or invisible, which can morph into resentment. Why doesn't the world value this the way I do? If you're in this trap, nothing is wrong with you, and nothing is wrong with having a passion. What's missing is a clear connection to real needs and to sustainable reward. Later in the course, when we talk about empathy interviews and offer prototypes, you'll see how to test and shape your work in ways that meet actual demand instead of just hoping it will catch on. For now, just notice if this description sounds like you. Energized by the craft, anxious about stability. The second trap is almost the opposite. You have strong skill and strong reward, but very little love and very little sense of meaningful need. This is the classic golden handcuffs trap we talked about earlier. This is the zone many high performers end up in. You're good at your job, you've built a reputation, people rely on you, you're paid well, you might have benefits, status, or security. From the outside, everything looks great. But inside, you feel more like a well-trained machine than a human being. Your days are full, but they're not fulfilling. You might feel chronically tired or secretly bored. You might find that you need more and more entertainment, food, or distraction just to recover from the work week. You might feel guilty for not being happy because you know you should be grateful for what you have. This is where Sarah spent many years. Her skill and reward circles were large. She was excellent at the work and compensated accordingly, but she didn't love the core of the job, and she didn't feel connected to a meaningful need. She could intellectually understand that accounting was important, but the way her days were structured left her feeling like her deeper capabilities were never really engaged. If you're in this trap, you might catch yourself thinking, if I could just push a little longer, maybe this will start to feel right. Or maybe I only feel this way because I'm tired. I should just take a vacation. Sometimes a rest will help temporarily, but if you always come back to the same numbness or quiet dread, it's a sign that you're using your abilities in a context that doesn't match your values or your natural sources of joy. Again, nothing is wrong with you for ending up here. Our cultures heavily reward and reinforce this trap. The key is to see it for what it is, a partial version of success, strong in skill and reward, weak in love and meaningful need. That diagnosis doesn't tell you exactly what to do yet, but it explains why the life you've built doesn't feel as good on the inside as it looks from the outside. The third trap is where you have passion and a strong sense of service. You love helping and you care deeply about what the world needs, but you don't yet have enough skill or sustainable reward. Think of this as the overgiving and burning out trap. People in this zone often say things like, "I just want to help people," or "I feel called to make a difference." They may throw themselves into volunteering, activism, or support roles with a huge amount of heart. They often get emotionally invested in the struggles of the people they're trying to help. But without the right skills, structures, and boundaries, they end up depleted. They give and give, then hit a wall. You might recognize this in yourself if you've ever tried to support others so much that your own life started to suffer. Maybe you took on too many unpaid roles. Maybe you said yes to everyone who needed you. Maybe you tried to start a meaningful project or organization without the necessary skills, systems, or financial foundations, and you burned out hard. This trap is painful because your intentions are so good. You're not just chasing money or status, you genuinely care. But you haven't yet built the mastery and models that allow your caring to be effective and sustainable. Ikigai asks you not to abandon your heart, but to upgrade it with skill and strategy. The world needs your care, but it also needs you to last. Finally, there's a fourth trap. You have a connection to real needs and perhaps to reward, but you're missing love and true skill. This is the opportunistic hustle trap. In this zone, people chase what seems hot or lucrative. They see a trend, a market opportunity, or a gap, and they jump in, not because they care about it or are naturally suited for it, but because it seems like a way to succeed. They might copy what others are doing, follow templates, try to hack their way into success. For a while, they might even make some money. But two problems show up. One, they don't love the work. It feels like a constant grind or like an act they're putting on. Two, because they're not operating out of genuine strength or interest, their work tends not to be deeply excellent. It can be surface level or generic. Over time, that catches up with them. The market moves on, they lose motivation, or they realize they've built something that feels hollow. If you've ever tried to force yourself into a role or niche just because you thought it would be profitable, you felt this trap. It might even have worked for a while, but sustaining something you don't care about and aren't naturally good at is exhausting. Ikigai invites you away from opportunism towards authentic contribution, towards building something that fits who you actually are. Now, why are we spending so much time on these traps? Because seeing exactly which trap you're in gives you huge clarity on your next moves. If you're in the beautiful poverty trap, strong love and skill, weak need and reward, your work is not to stop loving your craft. Your work is to get closer to the people who might need what you offer, to listen more deeply, to test different ways of framing and delivering your work, to find where your joy intersects with problems people are actually trying to solve and are willing to commit resources to. You'll need courage here, because it might mean changing how you package or position your work, not its essence. If you're in the golden handcuffs trap, strong skill and reward, weak love and need, your next moves involve experimentation at the edges. You don't have to torch your career, but you do need to start creating spaces where you can use your strengths in ways that align with your values and interests. Maybe that's volunteering, maybe it's mentoring, maybe it's experimenting with different kinds of projects inside your current role. Over time, those experiments can point you toward roles or directions that pay attention to the love and need circles as well. If you're in the overgiving and burning out trap, strong love and need, weak skill and reward, your task is to slow down and invest in mastery and sustainable models. That might mean training, education, or apprenticeships. It might mean learning about boundaries, pricing, and business models. It might mean shifting from "I'll help anyone with anything, anytime" to "here's how I can best serve" in ways that respect both their needs and mine. And if you're in the opportunistic hustle trap, some sense of need and reward, weak love and skill, your next moves involve getting brutally honest about what you actually care about and what you're willing to become genuinely good at. You may need to step back from shallow opportunities and commit to a path that feels slower but truer. It's also possible you've moved through multiple traps over the years. Maybe your 20s were spent in passion projects that didn't pay. Then you jumped into a stable but soul-numbing career. Then you tried a hot opportunity side hustle that didn't fit. All of that is normal. It's part of your learning curve. The important thing is this: wherever you are right now is just one point on the map. It's not your destiny. It's a data point. Here's a reflection exercise you can use after this video that will feed directly into the work we do next. Grab a notebook and think about your current main work or life role. Then, for each pair of circles, ask yourself, do I have passion and skill here, but struggle to see real need or reward? Do I have skill and reward, but very little love or sense of meaning? Do I feel a strong desire to help and a sense of the world's needs, but lack the skills or sustainable structure to do it well? Am I mostly chasing what seems profitable or impressive, without real interest or deep capability? You might find that one of those descriptions fits very clearly, or you might see elements of more than one. That's okay. The point is to notice which circles are strong for you now and which are missing. In the next video, when we start sketching your first Ikigai hypothesis, this awareness will be incredibly useful. I want to leave you today with a hopeful reframe. Being in a trap is not a sign that you're doomed. In fact, the very discomfort of that trap is often what pushes people to grow. The pain of the golden handcuffs, the frustration of beautiful poverty, the exhaustion of overgiving, the emptiness of opportunistic hustle, these are all signals. They are ways your system is telling you something is out of balance, another configuration is possible. You don't have to know exactly what that configuration is yet. You just need to be willing to read the signals instead of numbing them out. In our next video, we're going to turn all of this into something tangible. We'll build your first Ikigai map, a simple personal canvas where you'll start capturing guesses about each of the 4 circles based on your real life. This won't be a final answer. It will be a working draft. But once that draft exists, you'll have something to test and refine instead of trying to figure everything out in your head. For now, take a breath and acknowledge where you are honestly. If you can say, yes, I recognize myself in one of these traps, that's not defeat, that's clarity. And clarity is the beginning of change. I'll see you in the next video where we start drawing your map.